Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming tonight on this lovely Saturday to New Govardhan. So many of you don't know me. My name is Saul. You can call me Bhakta Saul or anything you like. I've been living in the temple for about 2 years now, and I have the great opportunity to speak on what I've learned, passed down from the merciful seniors that live here. So I hope they could honor them in great respect. So, if you allow me to begin, we'll start off with some simple prayers to honor the teachings of Bhakti, but I don't know it by heart, so give me one quick second. Okay. Om Jnanatanam Hasya Ganangana Shakkalya Chakchu Yunyanitayanam Tashmai Shri Gare Namam Sitatanya Namo Bishtam Shaitam Yena Bhutale Shwaivam Rupa Karakaryam Tati Sat Pata Antyam. So, the translation: I was born in darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respect and obeisance unto him. And so today I wanted to speak about something that was kind of cultivated here in me and many others. It's mostly about service, and what does that mean, and how do we go about it, and what does it do for you. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about, many stages, but for me the most important part is between chapter 12 and chapter 15, when he's talking about who's dear to him, what is service, and many other things. So I have it here actually. So we're reading from chapter 12. So title Devotional Service, and let's see, give me 1 6 form to enjoy. Yeah, Devotional Service. And so in this chapter, Krishna talks about how to perform devotional service and who is dear to him. Because Arjuna asks him, so what path is better? Is it the path of impersonalism or path of personalism? And Krishna describes him, both paths are very good for one, depends where they're at in the spiritual life. But one path is more, you could say, more fruitful and more kind of enlivening for one, because he says a path of impersonalism, or the path of the advancements, is very hard for one in that sense. And so Krishna tells him in this verse, I'll read the translation now. If you can take to this practice and engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge, then better knowledge, however, is meditation. Then meditation is renunciation of fruit of actions. By such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Purport. As mentioned in previous verses, these are two kinds of devotional service. The regular principles and are the way of full attachment and the love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position. Gradually, knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by gradual process. There are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme. And the sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in Vedic literature for the Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and Sudras, which we shall find in later chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. But in all classes, one should give up all the results or fruit of labor. This means to employ the results of karma or some good cause. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal. There are two processes. One process is gradual development, and the process is direct. Devotional service and Krishna consciousness is direct method, and other methods involve renunciation, fruit of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the Supersoul. and then to the stage of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One either take the step-by-step process or the direct process. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that in direct process is not recommended for Arjuna because he's already in the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, and meditation and realization of the Supersoul and the Brahma should be followed. As far as the Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take the direct method of surrender under the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And so, this one's actually pretty heavy. Actually, it has a lot that we could look back and reflect and meditate on. Krishna's telling Arjuna, if we're not on the level above and able to perform pure devotional service, then we should just meditate upon him. And luckily we have the good fortune to meditate on Krishna in his form of his deity. And by doing this, we become purified. We're able to purify our existence. And by the sense of purifying our existence, we're able to cultivate knowledge because we are more susceptible to things. We are able to understand who we naturally are and where we come from and what is our position and what is the goal of life, and many questions that we all ask and or hopefully ask in some time in our life. But we realize that in this world it's a material kind of battle that we kind of go through. Either our minds are giving us trouble, or surroundings are giving us trouble, or just we have society that's given a hard time. Yeah, you could say in today's society it's very hard to live in a peaceful mind. It's very hard to stay content, because something's always going to happen. And somebody says, no, I'm okay, my life is content. Well, in the next second, who knows what's going to happen to us? Who knows? Unfortunately, so many things happen to us. But so we base our happiness on conditions, and then, but life is going to be a roller coaster for us most of the time. And so here, at this temple, we're here not trying to give, shanti, not trying to get happiness. We're trying to give bhakti, loving devotional service. And through bhakti, you develop happiness, but also with the practice of bhakti yoga, you also develop all sorts of feelings and reactions. And Srila Rupa Goswami, one of our teachers that we study from, he wrote this book called The Nectar of Devotion. And throughout the book, he describes many symptoms of that you develop for Krishna. And it could be a range of, happiness, love, anger, anxiety, stress, in many forms. But he says that all these emotions are, in a sense, transcendental, eternal. I mean, they're not on a material level, because you realize that, yeah, I'm doing this for a better cause. I'll put myself through great stress, through great anxiety, I get angry because, something in my service is, comprehended, And so you do this for Krishna, but for yourselves, he says one should detach from the fruit of actions, meaning one shouldn't endeavor for, material things. So, yeah, you don't get so angry or stressed out or, and many things for something that may happen on the material platform. But if something doesn't go right, when you're doing your service, and there's a window, there's a scope to, to feel these feelings, because we realize that, Krishna is, person, so therefore he has feelings and he has emotions and many things. It's not just that, we're speculating in many sense. Yeah, we're not speculating like, oh, Krishna has feelings and this, so he likes this, so I'm going to offer, fish or something like that, because Bhagavad Gita says, offer tulsi leaf with water and I'll accept it. No, Krishna describes, offer this, but if you want to advance, you could follow these processes. Offer me this, these are the things I like, these are the things I appreciate. It's not just like, oh, whatever I want, I would give it to Krishna first and therefore I take it. No, he sets, principles and many things that, and by this process of following these principles, you develop knowledge, and then from that you develop, feeling towards him. And so devotional service becomes more like, easier to do. Although it's already a natural thing that we do, but we've just been covered over by, so many material things that we do. But this process is it's very nice, because once one takes up the process of, that you could say a lot of things, but the Yuga Dharma, Prabhupada says, we're making people, paramahamsas, immediately, just like, the moment they chant, they're pure. And so, the moment you say Krishna's name, or the moment you think about Krishna, it's all a service to him. Everything you do in all reverence to Krishna, it's service to Krishna, meaning that, even hearing, as we're all here today, we're performing some type of service. You guys are hearing me, and I'm speaking, and so therefore it's a reciprocation between, between everybody. It's not just that, I'm here and then, or like when you hear a kirtan, you want to be engaged properly. So the calm response is not just you do whatever you want. And so that's just going out the realms of services. So speculating in that sense. And then it's very tricky, because, one could commit offenses. Offenses are very, once you commit offenses, it's actually hard to nullify them in many ways. But Krishna is so merciful that he accepts it. He accepts us in our conditional form, because he knows that we wanted to enjoy without Krishna, but yet he still loves us. He still loves us. He gives us the association. He gives us nice prasadam, and he gives us many facilities. But for what? Not just to fill up our bellies and many ways, but to actually develop a love for him. Understand, like, okay, Krishna's giving me this, and what can I give Krishna? Because after a while, he's just like, all right, I don't want to take no more. I want to give you something, Krishna, and so, at the end of this purport, it says, one should surrender to Krishna fully. One should surrender to Krishna, because he realizes the supreme goal. Meaning that there are many goals in life, but what is the best goal? The best goal meaning, like, okay, I realize this world is, it's filled with, material sufferings, and there's some happiness, but the happiness is only the absence of, it's just the absence of, it's just a relief of pain. That's what it all is, really. It's a distraction, Somebody said, if you forgive me for, but the most sense of happiness is relief from bodily fluids, meaning that, like, it's just understanding. And then sometimes somebody's so prideful they don't want to surrender. They think that, like, why should I surrender? I live my life accordingly. I'm a good person. I'm already unsurrendered. We could be more surrendered, maybe. What can I do? How can we amplify our service? How can we amplify our love for Krishna? Because he's eternal. He's he's overgrowing. Why can't my love ever be growing for him? That's what it should be. That should be that's hopefully the mindset that we develop down the line of developing our spiritual progress. So but this development of spiritual progress is, for many, it's at the gradual step. He says in the purport that he says in the purport, one isn't able to associate with devotees, or isn't automatically like just chance. It's a direct method, but for many others, the other process, the gradual step is also recommended, meaning that, like, you realize who you are, you realize that you're not the body. And actually, it's kind of interesting if you look at somebody for more than like 30 seconds to like a minute. If you just, like, not awkwardly, but like just look at them and just like realize, like, just analyze like their facial features, like nose and ears and eyes, and you start looking at everybody else. You realize, oh, it's kind of just like, this looks like a covering. It looks surreal, kind of. And it's a kind of like, it's an emotional state, because you realize, like, okay, maybe they're not the bodies. Somebody who you see loving, you see them as a child and you don't see them for 5 years, and they're completely different. Bodies are constantly changing from boyhood to youth to old age, and what happens after that? And so yeah, these bodies are constantly changing, and they bring so much, unfortunately, suffering, but with happiness. And so, but, we have the special opportunity because, in many yugas, the human body and other bodily forms are, capable of worshiping, But we're very special now because we're able to chant Krishna's names, and by this method, it's very easy to perform devotional service. Yeah, before you have to do a bunch of yogyas and mudras and many things, but now just the simple thing is just chanting and hearing and taking prasadam and associating in many ways. And after that, you realize that you develop again this cultivation of knowledge and renunciation of fruitive activities. And after renunciation of fruitive activities, you're not attached. You're not attached to many things. You get attached for many gross things. House and material things. But then down the line, you get detached from subtle things. Something like you do every day, like a routine. Maybe like you like sitting in a certain place every time you go to an event. Like here, maybe you see it. Somebody has a specific spot they like to sit in, and they won't move. Like it. I mean, they're not bad, but yeah, there's something like that. It's like simple attachments, but it could be, it's on a subtle level. But Krishna says, somebody who surrenders unto him, it's automatically, doesn't do no wrong practically. He's pure. Everything he does is on the transcendental level because, devotees of the Lord, people who worship Vishnu and Krishna and who dedicate their lives and their time, they're beyond the modes of material nature, meaning that like they may look like they're doing the same thing as a regular person, but they're actually doing it in the consciousness of Krishna, meaning that this is an offering to Krishna, meaning I do this, I may sweep the temple, It may look like just the same person sweeping a hallway in a facility, but this is different because I realize that this is a manifestation of Krishna, Balaram, and then it goes into many concepts. But yeah, understanding that like devotional service is the key to perfecting my life and to be able to perfect. And yeah, it's a simple process: chanting, associating, and hearing, and many things. And we may be put into great difficulty. Krishna may put us through many things, but it's not. One doesn't think that this is my karma, or he does actually. He just says that this is my karma. This is due to my past misdeeds. But you realize that I should be actually suffering a lot more than what I'm suffering right now. Yeah, I should actually. I almost got hit by a car. Wow, maybe I should have got hit by a car. But Krishna's so merciful that I didn't, or I lost something very valuable to me. I lost my wallet. How can I ever lose something so precious? I have all my valuable. I had money in there. Yeah. But somebody who is detached I realize that it isn't the end of the world. I could just get everything back together. But luckily, I'm still here to perform some service, and they'll proceed in performing the service in any way they can. And yeah, this is the essence of bhakti. And there was another part I was wanting to mention. It was for versus enemies. Yeah. So this idea of when one develops detachment, he isn't attached to one's ego, in the sense of meaning that everybody is his friend. He's very dear to everybody, and everybody's dear to him. And meaning that he doesn't become people's enemy's enemy. Meaning, there's no, how can somebody so merciful become my enemy? Because he's, we may think like, how could he do that? How is that possible? How is such, you get angry, but devotees, they're not attached. They're not attached if somebody makes an offense to them, because they realize that, many realize that, they're not even a devotee to begin with, so therefore, it's this humble mindset that one develops, because one realizes like a devotee, somebody who's worshiping Vishnu, has it's completely perfect, so there's no need to proceed. There's no more need to advance, because the level of devotion that somebody's on is already the highest level. So there's no practically need for there's no need to advance. And somebody who develops this mindset of my enemies doesn't become my enemy, or my enemies' enemies are not mine, in a sense. Like, yeah. And so really, like, he's very merciful to all of them. And we see it with our teachers and our, people, the founder Acharya of our movement. He exhibited this this role very exquisitely. And yeah, he did it, but nobody was, discriminated. Everybody could come and chant and, perform the service. And yeah, this is something I like, at least for me, because actually, for me, it hits home, because when I came here, we love serving people. We always serve. We have to serve somebody, actually. We become indoctrinated in so many ways, although we may not think so, but we actually are. Families, school, and so many things. Everything you develop, you develop kind of the lingo. You develop, what's the way, and you kind of adapt to your situations. And just like here, you come and we adapt to what's going around here. We understand the culture, and realizing that if you're not participating in the culture in a way, you kind of feel like, yeah, maybe I should do something. Maybe I should, proceed. Everybody seems to be somewhat happy, blissful. Children are chanting. They're very, they're very talented. People, many musical players. People like to cook. People like to sing. People just like communicating. People have, good skills, good kind of basic skills on a material level, but it helps them on a spiritual platform, because they can actually engage with other individuals on a certain level, because they are transcendental, meaning that they could, meet people where they're at. Meaning somebody who's on the street, yeah, they may be in the modes of material nature, but devotee, he sees past that. He sees past the material body, and he just looks at, this is a soul, this is a jiva who's fallen and conditioned, and by bringing him back to Krishna, he's able to develop his knowledge step by step, understanding that there's three modes in this nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Ignorance and passion are mixing, goodness comes here, but it's constantly evolving within us. Yeah, ignorance meaning like, I sleep to, so many things. Passion, I want to make a lot of money. Goodness, I want to help people. But these are all material qualifications that, could hinder our spiritual growth or develop our spiritual growth. Everything we do has a choice. We all have free will. Krishna says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, I have now bestowed this knowledge on you. Now it's up to you. Make the decision what you're going to do. You could choose a path of, step by step, gradual, understanding knowledge. Arjuna doesn't have to go through that process, because he already has pure love devotion for Krishna. And souls like this are very rare, very rare. Even people who come to the temple, very rare souls. All you guys here are, one in so many numbers, but, there's a lot now. So thank you for coming too. But yeah, it's understanding that, I am actually very blessed to be here. I'm very grateful to be in this, although these bodies are, made of so many things that causes troubles. This body is an outlet to, get the mercy of, those who are merciful. In a sense, we just had a nice celebration, Nityananda Chodashi. So the appearance day of Nityananda is so merciful. He delivers all the conditioned souls, such as Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai were two sinful brothers, meaning, they were brahmanas, and they said, if we could deliver these two souls, then there's no doubt that, there's no way that they're going to doubt the holy names of Sri Krishna or Sri Chaitanya. And by this process, this is a very perfect age to develop, knowledge in the sense. You may not think it is, because you can say, how is that possible? How is it possible, this age is the best age? Because it's the age of, that Lord Chaitanya, one of our, beloved saints and deities that we worship here, he bestowed this process of, chanting. By this chanting, one could, develop, again, become a Paramahamsa immediately. There's no, gradual step. It's like just an elevator straight. And yeah, when we develop such a consciousness, let me see. When we develop such a consciousness, we become fixed in our faith. When you first come around, or even, it takes a long time actually. Faith is a very important thing. You know, first you come here, the first year, I mean, these people who take it up seriously, the first year they eat like everything that it's offered, you know, they honor prasadam in many ways. But after a year, they realize, I can't continue, you know, the way I'm going, because how can I perform my service? If I'm, you know, taking everything that Krishna gives me, it might be too much actually, because he's, you know, he gives a lot. And so realizing that I have a limit and I should, you know, just take what's needed, just to keep body and soul together. Meaning that Krishna gives so much, and then I wish I could take it all, but in this material body, unfortunately I can't. Meaning, yeah, I can't have, you know, 6 cups of sweet rice and, you know, 3 you know, cheesecakes and so on. Yeah, it's practically impossible. I end up suffering. Yeah. And so, but by doing this, keeping body and soul together, we realize that, okay, now I'm satisfied to my needs, and now I can perform some type of service to Krishna, you know, offer something, perform something, you know, in many ways. But when, in the first stage, the reason when somebody does is because their faith is, you know, they're in the neophyte stage, meaning that their faith is unsteady, they go back and forth, you know. Then later on they become more fixed, but they don't become well-versed in many things. Meaning if somebody would approach them with an argument, then they may be defeated in many sense. But somebody who is really fixed, there's no way of knocking them down, there's no way of, and that stage is very rare. And that's, you know, but everybody in any stage is very dear to Krishna, because they, you know, they have come to him in full surrender, and to be able to perform such wonderful services to him. So that's all I have for tonight. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, comments, or yeah, anything, we could have a discussion. Yeah. But anyways, thank you for listening and tolerating. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Well, first it's the secret is, I don't want to sound cheesy, but it's the love and devotion, you know. But yeah, it's this, the attention to detail. Vaishnavas are very attentive to detail, because they realize that, you know, this is for Krishna, so this should be the utmost best. So realizing that, like, measuring everything practically right, which is I should actually practice what I preach, meaning I should measure everything. But one kind of, so yeah, just everybody, they practice, they pay attention to every single little detail, meaning like, yeah, if there's a small crack in the wall, you know, they don't let things fall apart. Meaning, yeah, they don't let things fall apart. They don't let, you know, things slip through the cracks. You know, they catch everything, and if they do, they, you know, they feel terrible actually. They have this sense of, you know, regret, and in a sense, because they realize that they weren't able to fulfill, you know, Krishna's service fully. That's at their full capacity they get, even though they tried, but Krishna still accepts them, you know, many ways. But that doesn't mean that we should just, you know, lack in our services. Meaning that, yeah. And then also a lot of buttercream, heavy cream and sugar, and a lot of pistachios. Yes. Yes. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. I see Mukunda Charnapuva made it, so you would have to ask him. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I believe we'll be serving out some dinner now. If you guys would like, you could eat in the patio or take it to go. But anyways, thank you for coming to Saturday Satsanga. We have this every Saturday. We also have events throughout the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, everything. And so yeah, thank you guys for coming. And where are you guys coming from? Locals, huh? Oh, great. Nice. What part of San Diego? Oh, nice. That's like a 30-minute drive, huh? Oh, thank you for coming. You see that? Now that's a great service. You guys went out of your way to come here and come to the temple, meaning you want to see Krishna and you have a desire, and Krishna appreciates that. And it's in your eternal bank account, as they say. There's no loss or diminution in performing service. So, in this life, we're one step closer to be, having our good times with Krishna. That's as they say. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.